Welcome to a brand new episode of the post game. I am your host, Davion, and I'm joined by Lillian.
What's up?
Oronde.
What's good?
And my best friend Elijah.
You.
How we doing today, y'all?
We're good.
Pretty good.
Oh, that's good.
Had a bad last week. Found out a couple new things about myself, but other than that, good.
I'm glad everybody's doing good. I'm glad you're doing better, Elijah. But I'm doing good too. Today we are talking about the today's question. Let's do it from this. Today's question is: should Tua be in the MVP conversation?
No.
And why? Well,
let's hear everybody.
Yeah. Yes.
No.
I would say yes.
Even
I'm 50-50.
So here we go. So I'll let the nose. Who wants to start?
I want Oronde because Oronde.
I can start too.
He said it too confidently. Like no,
Yeah,
Definitely did say it very confidently.
I'm always confident unless I say otherwise.
Here's the thing about Tua.
Lillian says it. Fuck it.
Tua has exceeded expectations thus far. He's missed a lot of time. He missed half of the Bengals game. He missed 2 weeks after that. He's not even top 10 in passing yards. His team's not the best team in his own conference. I think the Bills are a better team. I know head to head, that was a close game. I still think the Bills are a better team. I think Josh Allen's a better quarterback. But I think I'd still put Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes. I'd put Jalen Hurts ahead of him. I put those three steadily ahead of him. I'd put him in the same conversation as Geno Smith.
So I'll jump.
Somebody else want to say something?
I'll go. So
Okay.
I agree with that Geno Smith comment. I think Geno arguably has a case to be made as well. I mean, the expectations that Geno Smith and the Seattle Seahawks had before coming to the season were zero, realistically. But they have transformed that team to something, I think, leading their division, actually. But to your point about the Dolphins not being the best team in their division, like I feel like it's harsh for you to say that when the Jets are showing promise and the Bills are arguably the best team in the National Football League. That's a hard division, plain and simple. So I think you have to account for that. Now, the reason I said yes, and honestly, my yes was more towards like there's somebody else on that team of the Miami Dolphins that can be that MVP, and that is Tyreek Hill. We're talking about his quarterback-led position, but Tyreek Hill right now is on pace to have
He has 1,063 right now.
2,300 yards. And he's just tearing the NFL up. Like his numbers right now: 76 receptions, 1,100 yards, I think is it only 3 touchdowns? Only 3 touchdowns.
3 touchdowns.
That's rushing. I think that might be just rushing. Anyway, but like
3 touchdowns. It's not rushing.
Oh, really? That's it. Oh, hello. So,
but he's just been averaging like yards.
Yeah, I mean, he's like per game. Tyreek Hill has been, I think he's averaged dang near 100+ yards a game, and so we really need to look at Tyreek Hill being in that MVP conversation.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing is I named quarterbacks that are better.
You definitely did.
It is not just a quarterback award. I think we forget about that a lot of the time.
Yeah. But like we focus on them more.
I mean, somebody else I put in there is Justin Jefferson. I mean, also on pace to be a great receiver this year. I'd also say if Derrick Henry can keep playing well. I mean, he had a 200-yard rushing game. That is.
He and Tyreek are the only 2 players over 1,000 yards.
I mean, maybe a defensive play you can throw in there, Micah Parsons.
Nah.
No.
Sauce Gardner, though.
I mean, that's another one.
I do not think that you can confidently put Micah Parsons in if we've never put in Aaron Donald, TJ Watt, Myles Garrett. That's never happened. And I don't think Micah Parsons is the most valuable player on his team.
Hot take.
No,
Aaron
that's
Donald's
not
a
a hot
little.
take.
I got
That's-
one.
that's pretty mild.
I'm about to say one.
Oh,
Aaron Donald is a little overrated to me.
Because he's having a bad season.
Well, it's not based off this. I feel like yes, he has shown that he's a force, plain and simple. But I feel like he's a little overrated.
that's giving me the sour face, my brother.
Then clip it and.
But before I get, I'll clip it and
ship
ship
out.
it. But that's besides the point. My take on this Tua situation.
Mhm.
I agree with Lillian. Too much time missed, but also, like you said, there is also a better player on his team.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't get much more simple to that.
I have something to say as well. So I was yes too, but I'm 50-50. So he did miss, like Lillian said, he did miss games, but granted, before he had the concussion situation and he was out, and he came back against the Steelers and still putting up numbers. So let's not forget that. And he was putting up numbers before he even got the concussion too. So, you know,
And
he should be able to be in that MVP race if he comes back from a concussion. Because mind you, everybody thought his season was over, like he wasn't coming back, and he came back and he's still putting up yards, getting touchdowns. So that's saying a big deal. Like he's that guy, regardless.
Yeah, and to your point, Davion, about Michael Parsons, I think if we're going to put Michael Parsons in there, we also should look at Matt Judon and Zadarius Smith. Both top two freshman sacks.
Judon leading the sack totals right now.
I mean, they are both dominating off of the edge just as well, if not a little better than Michael Parsons is right now.
Would you guys like to know the top 10 MVP favorites according to BetGM?
Well, hold on. I want to react to Elijah's point real quick. So, Elijah, to your point, like when you said that, Tua's been out, but when he came back, he was such a piece of that team. We saw when Tua was out, they were losing games, right? Like, isn't it to me, like the MVP is if you take this player out, they can't win games, right? Tua is a prime example. If you take him out, they suck pretty much. And so I think that should be taken into account as well, like why he's such a big piece to that team.
And I think he just really, like y'all said, I guess he really needed that piece, and Tyreek is that piece for him to really show that he's good. I guess.
I mean, he's got two of the fastest receivers in the league,
and Waddle too, exactly.
And they don't care at all. They're scary good.
Mm-hmm.
So your top 10 favorites right now, starting from 10. Christian McCaffrey at 66-1, Tua at 9, Justin Herbert at 8, tied with Tua at 40-1, Kirk Cousins, Geno Smith, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts is 3rd, Patrick Mahomes is 2nd, and Josh Allen is 1st, which actually fell a little bit after his loss to the Jets.
This is one of those situations. Yeah. Joe Burrow's up there because he's Joe Burrow. Same with Justin Herbert.
Whoa. I disagree with that statement. I mean, Burrow, listen, they put on, okay, hold on. These past couple weeks, they have been putting on clinics. Last week, they murdered the Panthers.
Just suck.
Joe Mixon.
Yes, but I mean, you still have to win
a lot of their work too.
But you still have to win the game. And he didn't, I don't think he played the fourth quarter.
But like Joe Mixon won that game. We saw him without Jamar Chase and he lost. He started off the season poorly too. So for him to have an MVP bid, you have to play well. You get maybe 1 or 2 bad games. He's had more than 1 or 2 bad games.
I mean, what? How many weeks has it been? 9
I'm gonna be honest with you. I might have to disagree with that because looking at his stats, I only see 1 bad game Burrow had. So 1 and 2 or more, I don't see that because every one game he had bad was against the Cowboys and he only had 190 yards. But everything else he had 300, 200 plus yards.
I mean, I think even
so I'm like, and touchdowns as well to make up. I mean, the interceptions, yeah, he probably got to clean it up. But other than that, he only had 4 interceptions. And that was the first game against the Steelers. And other than that, he was pretty much 3 and 2 touchdowns more.
I mean, going off of what's it called? I was just looking at it, like passer rating. He's only had 2 games under 90. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so, I mean, that's what you want out of your quarterback. I mean, like he's played good football. He's played good football all season long. That loss against Pittsburgh week 1, that's week 1. That happens. We understand. They had a slow start as well. Dallas, they only lost by 3 points, but then they beat the Jets. They beat Miami. They lost by 2 points to the Ravens. They beat the Saints, of course. They beat the Falcons, and they got blown out last week by the Browns, and then they blew out the Panthers this week. So I don't really think like we can kill that Joe Burrow too
Joe
much.
Mixon blew out the Panthers.
Joe Mixon carried my
5
fantasy teams.
touchdowns.
I
It's
mean,
crazy.
but somebody had to get the ball down there.
Joe Mixon did. He ran the shit out
Joe
of that.
Mixon.
I mean,
was
look.
about to
I mean,
say,
okay. You say that, but his stats last week weren't bad.
206 and 1 TD. So that means
listen,
that
but-
1 TD was Joe Mixon.
But he was
and
20.
The rest was rushing.
He was 22 for 28, which is almost 80% passing, 206 yards, a touchdown, no picks. What like that's not a bad
That's
a
game
pretty bad
managing
game.
because Mixon was like, I got this. I got
But
this.
that's
right
still
here.
a good game though. From any,
It's a good. No, I'm not saying he had a bad game. I'm just saying that's
We
why
can't
you make it
give
seem
him
like that's
any
like a great
props
game. It's
for
not a
not making
great
mistakes.
game, but that was definitely Joe Mixon game.
You get
now,
MVP
okay,
for
all right.
doing
Now,
better than you
if
should,
this
not
stat
for-
line was given to PJ Washington, what's the quarterback for the Panthers?
PJ Walker.
PJ Walker.
If that stat line was on PJ Walker and Chuba Hubbard had 6 rushing touchdowns, what would that look like?
That was
We
Chuba.
would praise Chuba
That
and
was
the
Chuba game.
Panthers
right.
O-line for doing something.
Okay,
I mean,
so Oronde, do you think Joe
You're
Burrow?
spreading, huh?
So what do you? I mean, he's third
Do you
passing
disagree?
yards in the league,
All right.
third touchdowns. He's tied
Mhm,
with 18th for interceptions at 6.
mhm,
QBR is like 55.1, which is 14th in the league.
mhm.
So, like, I mean, where do you put him on that top 10?
On that top 10, I'd give him 9 or 10. I think he's fine where he's at.
Okay.
Yeah, the team as a whole is doing good, but you also have Mixon.
I do not think that Joe Burrow has been playing well enough to win MVP. He's been doing what he should, and he hasn't made the mistakes.
It's
But
not like he's
that's
turning
not-
Higgins and others into Jamar Chase.
I mean, okay, here's the thing. I personally don't think he deserves it right now either. Obviously, we have the likes of Hurts, Allen.
Don't say your boy Herbert.
No, I mean Herbert hasn't had the best season either. I'll put
Okay,
him
I'm
right,
glad you're
right
saying that.
I'll put him right
That's-
there by Joe
That's why I
Burrow.
said. That's why I said though. I don't think Joe Burrow or Herbert deserve it, and that's why I said they're on that list because of who they are, not because they deserve it. That's all I
Right.
was saying.
Right.
So I mean, we can just add
I put
this.
Derrick Henry above both of them.
What you say?
I said I would put Derrick Henry above both of them. I mean, they took the
But
Chiefs.
to that,
He took
My
the
top-
Chiefs
my
to
top
overtime
fives
and
would
Carolina
probably
beat
be-
almost everything.
My
I mean,
top
but-
five would probably be the same top 3, just interchangeable, then Derrick Henry.
so
Yeah.
but to that point, didn't Derrick Henry have a slow start as well?
Like a game.
Was it
If
not
that-
more than? Was it just one
I mean,
game?
I'm
He
pretty sure
looked
it's just
like
one
he
game.
didn't look good week 1, but after that he really ramped it up. As far as I know, I could be incorrect.
You incorrect. You very incorrect. 1, 2, 3. The first 3 games Titans had, he did bad. So he had 82 yards against the Giants, 25 against the Bills, 85 against the Raiders, and after that he was like averaging 100 plus. So
And
yeah,
then 100, 100, 100, 200.
yeah. So everything else was 100 plus. So yeah, so 3 games he had bad.
But I mean, he also had a.
He
I mean,
did play a healthy Buffalo team.
He did. He really did.
That was a
Wait,
healthy.
35 yards is
I mean,
crazy.
out of these other
Henry
teams,
though, that's crazy.
I mean, out of these other teams that they've blown out or that they've beaten, the Commanders, the Colts twice, the Texans, like though that's nothing to go.
Texans, that
Yeah, he
has
had
2
two
of
nights-
his
he had two
200
nights.
yard 200-yard games.
219.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
200 yards. It doesn't matter who you play because they're still professional football players.
Mind you, he had 30
Whoa!
yards.
Oh, no! I'm not gonna let you squeeze by that one. I am not.
I mean,
Hey.
haven't
200
we
yards
bullied
is-
the Lions and said we should have the national champion play the Lions?
Dude,
Haven't
there's not a
we
single
done
college
that?
football team that can compete with an NFL team.
I don't know. Bama might give y'all at least 20
Bama,
points.
they just lost to LSU.
I'm saying in previous conversations, previous years.
What's wrong with LSU?
Nothing. I'm just saying Bama lost.
I'm about to say LSU not bad.
LSU is not going to get into the playoffs, though.
Definitely not.
No.
No, they're not.
You know who
Bama-
also shouldn't get into the playoffs?
Bama should not get into the playoffs. They're done.
Now, Bama's season is over with.
Yeah, it is. And Clemson's is probably done too.
Clemson's is done. They shouldn't have been ranked in the first place.
This is also a true statement. They got
Hey,
blown out by
here's
Notre
one
Dame.
thing. UNC's gonna win the ACC and end up top 10.
Let me not
You're
get
not
into
a
my college.
Clemson
Let me
fan,
not
right,
get into my.
Davion?
Well,
Your
okay,
team
let's
make-
close
Let
this
me not
out.
get into my.
Let's-
Let me not
let's
get into
close-
my college football
So
stuff.
what we're gonna do here, we're gonna add this to the MVP conversation, because that'll just be easier to manage. But yeah, any other thoughts on this MVP or Tua Tagovailoa situation?
Derrick Henry has better MVP odds than Tua should. That's all I got. That's my
agree with that.
end comment.
I can agree with that statement. All right. Well, appreciate y'all for joining on this episode. I have been your host, Davion. That's Lillian, Elijah, Oronde, and this has been the post game. Peace.